Well, welcome to another show right here on See Here Love. Already, I can feel the laughter and joy. We're so glad you've joined us today on this Wisdom Wednesday, as we continue our conversation with this lady right here, Jully Black, a Canadian icon, Canada's Queen of R&B Soul, named one of the 25 greatest Canadian singers ever, Platinum selling-Juno award-winning and co-founder of Empowered in My Skin events, a woman of strong faith. And if you caught our show on Monday, girl,
it was lit up on Monday.
Powerhouse. We had to keep her on for Wednesday because there was so much to talk about that we actually missed some of the content from Monday because we were just going.
And laughing our heads off. She's super funny.
But not to forget, even though this powerhouse here is here, I also have two amazing powerhouse ladies here, Cheryl and Joanna. Glad to have you guys back to continue the conversation.
Yeah, we need to continue.
Yeah. We talked about S.H.A.P.E with Jully. It's sort of your passion. We talked about these, like the 9 fruits. We talked a lot about the industry and the church. Great things on Monday. But I want to kind of unpack a little bit more when you talked about S.H.A.P.E. Because when we say S.H.A.P.E, you said, what do I think of? I like my body, Spanx, all that kind of stuff.
Skinny jeans.
Yes. But I want to talk a little bit more about why that's important and why there's a faith element in S.H.A.P.E.
Like almost letter by letter.
Yes. Let's go S and then kind of help us in as Christian women, as people on the spiritual journey about that. So S for S.H.A.P.E is let's go.
Spirituality. Okay. So spirituality. What does spirituality mean to you? What does it mean to you? What does spirituality mean to you?
Yeah, it means like a connectedness to God and an awareness of that there is more than we can see in us and someone else.
Awesome. Exactly. How about you?
I would say the same thing. That there's a God, there's something bigger than myself, a creator, and understanding that kind of relationship with him.
Right. So how are you feeding your spirituality?
Daily.
Yeah.
I in communion with God, and that's through the Word, through worship, through prayer, but also I always say I see God everywhere.
Yeah.
So having a different lens, I think spirituality is sort of recognizing that I have a soul.
Yeah.
And that I have a relationship with God, and how do I see God working that relationship out, like daily?
I love that. Yeah. So that you guys hit the nail on the head. So the S in S.H.A.P.E, spirituality. What we do, our aim at Empowered in My Skin is to help each other see each other's spirit. See the homeless guy's spirit. See the spirit in your child. See the spirit in your animals. Recognize that we are spirits in an earth suit. Right? And so it's important to build that. And I'm so happy. We're flowing right now. We're flowing. But how are you feeding your spirit? What's your daily practice? There are people that don't know the Word of God, aren't interested in the Word of God. How do you connect with people in the marketplace, in their language, to then bring them in and
and what I draw from what you just said is, when you said everybody has a spirit, I take that even further, that everybody is a child of God.
That's right.
Every person, the homeless person,
that's right,
the prostitute, the drug addict, they are, if we can see them as God sees them, they are all children of the King.
Which means what? We're siblings.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're related.
Sisters,
right?
Sisters and brothers.
Sisters and brothers. So how would you treat your sister, your biological sister or brother? Right? Yeah. So it's food for thought, something to think about. Shall we go to H?
Yes.
Health.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
We're all like this.
Let me check, please.
Oh, man.
Check, please.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay, let me bring the hair back around.
I love the honesty, but yes. So health, that's a good one, because a lot of women, we don't like to talk about health because it's uncomfortable, because some of us aren't making, and I'll personally make healthy choices in my food, diet, and exercise.
Right.
So let's chat.
So let me tell you how the Lord has helped me, Lord with a T, focus on my health.
Okay.
So our body's our temple. Right? Where does the spirit lives within us, right? Okay. So if the Lord had to borrow your temple to live in or to stay in, like a hotel, would you want him to stay at the Motel 6 or the Ritz-Carlton?
We're all like,
Based on that question that I asked myself.
Right. Oh my gosh. Right now he's living in a Howard Johnson. Like, I don't even know. There's a Hojo up in here. I'm going to tell it like it is.
Yeah.
We're trying to get to the Trump, honey.
Keep it real. And it's not even about, and what's amazing about that.
It's an Airbnb.
Yeah,
it's an
Airbnb.
Jesus is staying at my Airbnb. That sounds like a play.
So how do we? And you know
Okay,
what?
so yours- okay,
all
that's
jokes
good.
aside.
Yeah.
That
All
helps.
jokes aside,
Yeah.
and this is not saying anyone has to do this,
Yeah.
Right.
but you're so serious about it, you've literally you've become a vegan,
Yes,
Yeah,
I have
so-
for the
and you're
past year.
juicing
Yeah.
and raw foods. Like,
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah, because when you feel better, you do better.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
When you have that energy,
Yeah.
and you have reserve.
Yeah.
There's a reservoir that you're building
Yeah.
up. You have more to share and to give.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what else you have. If you don't have your health, nothing else actually matters.
Nothing else.
Right.
Like all these other aspirations, all the calling we
Yeah.
have in our life for God,
Breakthrough.
all the dreams we
We're
have,
praying for
all the
breakthrough.
relationships we want to
Right.
be part
Right.
of.
This is what I'm saying.
It all gets
Doesn't-
hindered.
Stop
by
praying for the breakthrough if you're gonna keep having the Twix.
Yeah. But
every
how do
day.
you make those good choices? Like you made the
Yes.
choice, but for a lot of
the
people, it's
McDouble,
not.
cheese.
It's not that we don't have this. I don't know if it's the strength, but I just think that it's like, what is it that keeps? Because I know that when I eat that, it's not good, but I still do it.
'Cause
So here's the thing. That's the
addiction.
choice.
It's a drug.
Yeah,
an
it's
addiction.
right.
So the first step for me, the first step that the Lord really led me to do is change my tribe. Change
Interesting.
my tribe.
As in,
Wow.
As in your people,
circle
your
of
Your
friends.
circle of friends.
Wow.
Really?
Your circle of friends.
I
So
want to
talk
talk
to me about
about
that.
this
Okay.
so much.
Oh, we might have time to get into the tribe all the
Oh
way.
my
Yeah.
gosh!
But Miranda Malasani, who I met by chance. I had shingles. I was at this conference for mommy bloggers. I'm not a mommy. I'm not even a blogger. But the Lord sent me there on assignment
Yeah.
to speak about the art of speaking.
Okay.
Long story short, and there was this other person on the panel that was the devil's twin. And the negativity that he was pumping into these women. And I was like, okay, Lord, I have to be bold. Spoke up, long story short, ended up in the washroom. Miranda it really resonated with her. And she came to me, we're total strangers, saying, I loved what you said. I'm a nutritionist, you have shingles, she dragged me to the Jameson table, sprayed B12 in my mouth, it's total stranger. We hit it off from that point on. We're going on 2 years. And
your shingles?
the shingles was gone after that. Okay?
Wow.
I've never canceled a show, ever, an event, and I went with shingles. Full pain, no medication, nothing, just zipping up and down. Anyway, health. So God sent Miranda, and she just, little by little, gave me tips, and she was allergic to MSG growing up. Lived off a food bank, and you don't know people's stories.
Yeah.
Fast forward to who knew that Empowered in My Skin was coming. We don't know what God has ahead of us.
Yeah.
And and why he's pressuring us to make these changes. We all know when the pressure's on. We know when he wants us to make the change. We know.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's a ministry. It's a whole other ministry now. So now I have friends that have lost 40 pounds. It's not even about the scale, but realizing that's my pulpit. Health is my pulpit.
But their illnesses are being reversed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been
Illnesses, off of diabetes medication, off of high blood pressure medication.
Wow. And just in what we eat.
It's what we eat. So
huge.
health.
It's huge.
So
So
let's
health,
think about the
yeah.
hotel you want the Lord to live in. Okay?
Okay.
A, abilities. Now, how many of us culturally, society, oh no, that's not a real job. You can't write plays. You can't do television. You can't sing. You can't be a minister. What is that?
Right.
You got to go and get your degree, master's, PhD. Oh yeah? God has given us our PhD from birth. We have gifts in us. It says in, 1 Peter 4:10, God has given each of you some special abilities. Be sure to use them to help each other. Passing on to others God's many types of blessings. God has given you did nothing for it, for free.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go struggle, and I'm not anti-school.
I was just
But
going to
still
say,
went.
yeah.
No,
it-
yeah.
I
it's
graduated, I was
important
in
that-
law enforcement and
School's
criminology.
important.
Yeah.
School's
Very
important.
Yeah.
But imagine if your family, your church has helped you to discover that gift. And through that, you're able to now feed into it, support it, learn more about it, learn the business of it.
And I think,
go ahead.
and I think that's important because I think for me, I have education, but everything I'm doing I've never been educated for this work.
Yeah.
But it's been people who saw my potential,
Right.
who said, we're going to give Melinda a chance at the young 20s, and we're going to put her in place.
You see?
And I grew and I learned on the job. But it
Right.
was people making some choices and being courageous to get me on, even though
Right.
I didn't have any education or skill.
Right. Remember what
Yeah.
you said, even
Yeah.
sorry to cut you, about David. David was crowned as a king.
Yeah.
As a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't
No.
step into that he had to go back
Yeah.
and to
the
be a
fields,
shepherd
yeah.
to the
Normal
field.
stuff.
Yeah.
Normal stuff,
Yeah.
right? When you're called, you're called.
Yeah.
So so
That's
that's
it.
your abilities,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Did you
And I'm
wanna
finding
say?
that more
Yeah.
and more, like people, especially in a digital age where people can start businesses and start to make money from an early age from home. You're seeing so many of these like entrepreneurs and entrepreneurialism is like really hip right now.
Yeah.
But it's because like the education system. I'm a person sitting
It
here
is
with
failing.
a master's
Yes.
degree,
Yeah.
and
Right,
I
it
will
is
be the
failing.
first to say the system is broken.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in these classes at a master's level, and I tried 3 times to start a master's degree and quit before I actually ended up completing it because
Right.
I was so frustrated with what was happening in the classroom, where I'm like, all they're teaching is sort of this practical theory,
Yeah, it's not real
but
world.
it's not real world.
Yeah.
And so I was coming in, I had some real world experience in my field, and I needed now the practical academic side to complement it. But people who were coming in with none of the practical side, they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And this education wasn't preparing them adequately for what they were about to
That's
walk
right.
into.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
right.
if you're not working along the way of the learning,
Yeah.
then like the learning kind of like you do it for the exam, you're not doing it to really know it, to
Yeah.
really apply it.
Honey,
into
I
your
will
life.
fail grade 9 science right now.
Yeah.
Put me in there. I don't know. I didn't apply it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, just in a sentence, that I think a full and rich life is a life when you're pursuing your passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So can we move to the P?
Yes.
Yes.
Personality.
Okay.
Imagine a
And
life
you
Yeah.
have a big one.
Yeah.
where you wake up every morning loving your personality. Thank
Yes.
you. So if
Yeah.
personality,
Yeah.
if our personalities weren't valuable and priceless, the Kardashians would be out of business.
It's true.
Right. It's true.
Because that's all they
It's
have.
all. It's what they have.
Right. Our personalities are valuable. Too often we've chucked it to the side. Your laugh is big, or you have
Helps.
right,
I get that.
right.
Oh yeah.
So embrace your personality.
And I want to say to someone who's watching in this moment, because you've said this too, there is no such thing as being too much.
Right.
Yeah.
For those that do, I mean, kudos to those that have a small personality, but when you have a big personality, there's this pressure to shrink.
Right.
And we
you
keep
just talk
talking
about
about
that
that.
for a
Yeah,
moment.
we've
It's
talked
like,
about that a lot, Sean and I.
Absolutely. Making yourself small to make someone else feel comfortable. It's they might as well add that to the 10 commandments. That's be the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not make yourself small to make them feel big. It's ridiculous. It happens and it happens as women all
yes.
the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's one of those things where you got to be bold and be courageous and recognize that even like you mentioned, those who have smaller personalities, that you have a bigness somewhere else in life.
Good.
We all
that's
have
good.
something big.
Yes.
Somewhere else. You're big somewhere
Yeah.
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
You know, it's and
good.
an area of your shape.
Yeah.
It's there. Right?
That's awesome. I
love that.
love that because I think people think like personalities that are big. I mean, we command the attention, we get all the glory, and so
not true.
again,
No.
and when I hear that again, Sean, I've talked about it. I've made myself small. Mel, you laugh so loud. You're so like verbose. That's how I am. But it's like, and I tried sometimes to try to hold back, and then I'm like, I'm being very inauthentic because that's not me either. So then I'm
We just
in
spoke
this
about
like
authenticity.
right. I'm in all in this like conundrum. So I'm like, now I'm not being this. I'm not. And so who am I? And I
Right.
struggled with that for years until I was like, come on, I got to just be who I am.
Yeah, I've challenged myself recently though to have my silence be a sermon, and so because silence is loud, and there's times where, and for those of us who have personalities like us, when we could do more justice in saying nothing at times, and be a little smaller. And you'll see people get uncomfortable. You won't even have to defend yourself. The Holy Ghost will be loud, louder than ever.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that.
And I've talked about it on the show before. I have these tattoos, lion and lamb, and it's like you got to know when to be one or when to
Right.
be the other.
Yeah.
Because if you're all the big,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it becomes obnoxious.
That's
it
right.
becomes
Absolutely.
too much. Sometimes you need to be quiet, silent,
This is so
gentle.
gentle. We got to get to eat.
Experiences.
Yeah.
Simply put, imagine a life where we wake up every morning loving your experiences. Every experience that we've gone through has been our prerequisite to purpose.
Yeah, that's it.
Ah, good.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's that thing, you Holy Ghost. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your
Shape,
prerequisite.
S-H-A-P-E. And what you're saying is we need to love our shape.
That's right.
And if we don't, then we need to make some choices towards
Right.
that.
We need to wake up every
We're
morning.
not living the
loving our
fullest
shape.
and best
Right.
life.
No.
Yeah.
If we don't love our shape.
That is
Yeah,
our
all-
birthright.
That's
Yeah.
all the
That's
facets
kingdom
of life.
children.
amazing. I
Yeah.
love
So
it.
there
You
go.
just covered every facet.
Yeah,
of
I
who
know.
we
And all of
are.
us are like, okay, I got to think through that. Because actually, that's good. Because I want to get, after the show, I want to go home and kind of walk through in my own journal, S-H-A-P-E.
I'm totally putting
Yeah.
you on the spot, but could she write a blog on shape?
Yeah. I would love that.
Yeah, for sure.
If you
For
can
our
just write a
readers,
blog.
just
I'd
a
love
little
to,
bit
yeah.
Because they would love
Absolutely.
it. And then maybe we can then start asking our viewers, okay, how did you do with S.H.A.P.E? And it'd be good for us to
Absolutely.
be as a
I'd love
sisterhood
to.
to do
Yeah.
that. Amazing. I know I'm putting you on the spot here, and I know that we were going to throw to a video,
Yes,
but
I'll
is
be
there
putting people
any
on the
way
spot.
to do a little song as we go for the show? Because we're done, but is there any, again, we did a hymn on Monday, but if there's
okay.
anything else you could sing, and we'll just end the show like that, because I think
Yes.
that's the most powerful thing to
Ladies
do,
and
Julie.
gentlemen, Jully Black.
Oh, wait, she's like, wait a second, I need some more time.
Why should I feel discouraged? And why should the shadows come? Why should my heart feel lonely and long for heaven and home? When Jesus is my portion, a constant friend is He.
Amen.
His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. Should I do the I sing?
Yes.
Yes,
I sing
because
I'm happy,
yeah,
and I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me.
Amen.
and let the church say.
Amen, Julie. Julie Black, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
on our show.
Hannah,
It
I
has
love
been a
you guys.
pleasure.
I love you guys so much.
love
I gotta
you.
touch
I
you
know.
guys.
Thank you so much. And to you viewers, thank you for joining us. That's all we got. Go to our website for all the information to get to know Julie, to sign up for her
gosh.
summit, to read her blog. And thank
Yeah.
you for joining us again. Have a great day.